All right, welcome to another episode of the Couch Coaches podcast where we talk about everything going on in sports. And we are one day late, but we are one day before the NBA Finals finally start, with the longest delay ever in between a conference championship and a finals, and way too long, but it gives us a lot of time to think about who we think is going to win. So, Brother James, I'm going to start with you. Since you obviously got the East championship, right? I'm going to start with you on this championship. Who do you think is going to win the finals?
Well, I didn't get it right. Just so we can be clear.
Oh, okay.
Because for Bill to say something. Oh, he's here. So, but going back to that, let me quick deal. Let's detour real quick, just a little bit. So, if you look at those games, those guys could have won those games. Okay.
Yeah.
It was bad coaching. I'm gonna leave it there. Go to next year. I have personal reasons why I do not want Boston to win. I think that it's going to be a great series. It may be even a series that go to 7. But I gotta root for Dallas.
So even if you didn't hate Boston because you grew up a Lakers fan, would you still pick Dallas, or is your hate so deep you're blinded?
I think my hate is not my hate, my dislike has really blinded me on that. So I couldn't say that. I don't know. I really can't answer that question.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to jump to the other Lakers fan just to see if he can kind of temper his dislike for the Celtics. Who do you have, Deacon Hill, for the winner in the finals?
Well, my dislike for the Celtics are just as deep as Brother James' dislike. But I also look at rosters and the way teams are playing right now, and I just think it's Boston's time. They've been knocking on the door for the last 2 years, and I think that they're ready to knock the door down. Of course you got Brown and Tatum. You know what you're gonna get from those guys. But with Jameer White, he's playing lights out, hitting big shots. Al Horford is knocking down big shots. And then Drew Holiday is, a matter of fact, I didn't read the article, but he was saying something. He might not want to say something, but he was talking about how to guard Kyrie. So I didn't read the article though. But yeah, I just think his defense is a little better. But I just think the surrounding pieces around Boston, their experience of being there and are hungry, ready to go. I mean, Dallas is not no joke, but I think it'll be Boston in 6.
So is it the experience that Boston has that has you leaning towards Boston, or is it the team makeup?
It's both. It's both. The team is playing really well. Those role players are knocking down shots. They're playing big time basketball right now, and that I think that's going to be the difference there with the role players. The stars you're going to get from Kyrie and Luka. You're going to get what you're going to get, and you're going to get from Tatum and Brown what you're going to get. It's those role players is going to be the factor of what's going to decide it, and that's where I'm leaning towards Boston.
Okay, so I don't mean to butt in, but I disagree a little bit on that. And the reason I disagree on that, brother, is that I think it's going to come down to coaching. I think Jason Kidd's a better coach.
Yeah, I will give you that.
I think he's going to be able to get those other players to rise to the occasion.
All right, Brother Bill, who do you think is going to get the chip this year?
I think the chip is going to be gotten by Dallas Mavericks in 6 for 3 main reasons. Number one, I think they played as a team better defense than the Celtics. Number two, if you look at their path to get to the finals, they had to play tough teams in both the conference semifinals. They had to knock out, the Denver Nuggets, who I thought was going to win it. And then they had to take down a Minnesota Timberwolves team in 5.
Did you say they beat the Denver Nuggets?
Dallas. I'm sorry. OKC. Sorry, wrong team. You're right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Minnesota took it down. Yeah, my bad. So their path to get to the finals, they had to play better teams than the Celtics did. The Celtics had the I know you play who's in front of you. I get that. But the reality of it is, I believe that the Mavericks, their bench is going to be the difference. because Boston does not have a deep bench when it comes to defense and scoring. Once you take out Drew Holiday, as who I believe is their best defender, there's a drop off what they do defensively. And even if they put him on Kyrie Irving, Dallas has proven that if you run the offense through Luka, he can the majority of the time make the right play so that other players can still score. And I just don't trust the Celtics offense against a good defense in the finals.
Yeah, I look at like the fourth quarter, and I think the Luka and Kyrie are a lot to handle in the fourth quarter. And I think you're going to get like Al Horford's going to be worn down by then, and Tatum is not that fourth quarter take over the game guy that you need your number one to be. And I do think that I think that Boston is going to come out strong. I think it will look similar to the Warriors series a couple years ago, where Boston came out and they were just like comfortable and on all over us. But then once we made the adjustments, they couldn't adjust back. And I think the kid, his intelligence of just a basketball mind, on top of the fact that he has great players, I think they're going to make their adjustments, and it'll be a thing where maybe they split the first two, maybe Boston gets the first two, but it does go 6 or 7, but Dallas comes out in the end, just because Boston has a great team, but there's just something. I don't know I mean, nobody was like in love with the coach last year. I mean, the only reason he's the coach is because the other dude was doing all kinds of nonsense in the building. And I don't know how. I mean, even if you have a good defense, how do you stop Luka? He's a lot, and I think it won't be a huge problem until it's the end of the game and you have to stop him and you can't. And Kyrie has conserved his energy enough where you have to stop him, but you can't because there's two smart basketball players with a smart coach. I see all the games being close and just coming down to those last 5 minutes, and I see Dallas doing a better job in those last 5 minutes than Boston.
And answer yourself the question, you guys. Tie game or down by a bucket, who do you trust to make the shot? Tatum, Brown, Luka, or Kyrie?
Well, not Tatum.
There you go.
Definitely
That's one
Tatum.
down. So now you're down to 3.
Yeah.
In a close game, the Mavericks are better at executing, just like the Warriors were. Granted, Steph was the difference in the finals in 2022. Let's just be clear, right? I mean, Boston had a better team, but Steph was the difference. I just don't trust the Celtics down the stretch if someone needs a bucket.
I would give it to Kyrie or Luka.
For sure.
So for the record, I'm the only one picking Boston. Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm going to really rub this in on you guys. I'm just letting you know now. Hey, is Kuzinga, the big man, coming back? Well, I thought he was supposed to be coming back.
He's supposed to.
He's
Okay.
coming back.
He's supposed to.
Yeah, but he hasn't played in. I mean, it's going to take him a while to get his endurance up. I'm telling you, if Dallas wins, if Dallas splits those first 2, it's Dallas in 6.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
I think if Boston doesn't come out, I think it looks really bad because I don't see Boston adjusting the way that I see Dallas adjusting. So to me, if Boston doesn't come out, like I would be shocked if Boston doesn't win the first game, or at least split the first 2. I'll be shocked because I don't see Boston. I mean, Boston is a very well constructed team. They're good enough coached. They have great, great starting 5. I don't see that that thing that I see Luka and Kyrie bringing to the table.
See, Bill, you see how me and Deacon Greg can still disagree without all the extra.
The extra's the fun part.
Yeah, what's your point?
The extra's the fun part. All right, so sticking with basketball, I think maybe the worst kept secret in the NBA is the Lakers' next head coach being JJ Reddick. At first, they're like, no, man, it's not going to be JJ Reddick. And then it's just crickets. And you're like, okay, the only reason that you don't have a coach in place is because Reddick is still under contract. Reddick is still doing nothing. He's putting his coaching staff together. The whole thing is very weird to me as an outsider. I'm not a Lakers fan, so I'm all for JJ Reddick being the coach of the Lakers. But I would like to ask you, Lakers fans, starting with you, brother James, what are your thoughts on Reddick being Reddick and LeBron's podcast partner being the next Lakers head coach? I know you're gonna like it.
Well, my issue of it is, I mean, Reddick, he played, so he knows the game. Can he control LeBron? Well, he only have to control LeBron for a year or two, but can he take some of his experience and develop those other guys to make them step up to where LeBron is not having to raise them up; they automatically play on that level. I I'm I think that we could have probably got a better coach, but I think he would do for the time being.
Okay, not exactly a ringing endorsement, but all right. Deacon Hill, thoughts on your 99.9% chance head coach, JJ Reddick?
Well, it's 99.9. It's not final, so there's a chance that he's not going to be. I'm not thrilled with it. JJ Reddick, like I said, he's a good analyst, and guys can talk a good game. You know, it's just like we are. We can Monday morning quarterback. We can sit here and talk all this stuff. But when the rubber meets the road, you get out there, we'll see what happens. And I look back at the history of the Lakers and all these players and first-time coaches. You don't have any coaching experience. Well, who we had? Magic Johnson. Well, how did that work out for us? We had Kurt Rambis. How did that work out for us? Luke Walton, how did that work out for us? I mean, you can go down the line and see all these coaches that come in. They are ex-players, but they didn't have any coaching experience. The Lakers are an organization that has to have experience, somebody that these players are actually going to believe in because they know it. They've been there, done that. Not just because you just played the game, but you actually coached games and you've been through the fire on the coach. It's different from playing and coaching. So, yeah, I'm not thrilled with Reddick being the coach. I'm not.
Brother Bill, thoughts on Reddick being the coach?
I don't believe that he has enough experience outside of being a player to coach a team like the Lakers in that big a market. When you are in a big market, you have all eyes on you. New York and LA are the two biggest sports markets, period. And unless they get off to a great start, unless they, draft, it's going to be a lot of pressure and it's only going to mount. LeBron is going to give you 20-something points a night, but you got to fix that defense. AD is going to be AD. I agree with Deacon Greg and Brother James. I thought the Lakers could have gotten someone else with more experience who's better suited to coach a team like the Lakers.
Yeah, one of my big things is like, okay, yeah, he's a former player, and I'm sure there's pluses to that. Like, I'm sure Kid's a point guard, so he like runs the court. So he was basically a coach on the court the whole time he was playing. So it makes perfect sense that in his like second stop, he's gonna be a good head coach. My thing is, doesn't LeBron have more experience than JJ Reddick? So if JJ Reddick can come in and be a good coach, shouldn't the team be better just because LeBron's on it? Like, basketball teams are tiny. I would think somebody with LeBron, LeBron's obviously very smart. He's a very cerebral player. He's obviously an absolute freak of nature. I would almost think that the Lakers wouldn't need a coach with somebody with LeBron's experience and basketball IQ. And Reddick is not coming in with more basketball IQ than LeBron is. I mean, unless LeBron just needs a mouthpiece from his podcast buddy to the rest of the team so he doesn't have to be the guy. I feel like you're bringing in a coach with less experience than your best player, which doesn't make sense to me, but LeBron's calling the shots, so it makes sense to me then. So
again, you have to have that coach with experience. Just like, what do we see LeBron down the stretch defer when he shouldn't have deferred, or take a three when he should have took a three? Mm-hmm. Even though he has the most experience, but he's doing things. That's where coaching comes in. That's where your experienced coach comes in and be able to rein him back in, because he's just going to go off of talent and instinct and do some things. But yeah, in the heat of the moment, you got to have that experienced coach to draw something up and get it done.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that accountability thing, and maybe LeBron would be more willing to listen to criticism from somebody that he respects than a coach he doesn't like. Like, maybe if like Dwayne Wade was telling him, hey, you're doing dumb stuff, he would listen more than some coach. I mean, one of the 10 coaches who's gotten fired. I don't know.
And what about Doc Rivers? Is he available?
Bro, you do not want. Come on, man. Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers. Come on, man. He's the coach with the most blown major leads in playoffs. That dude is not good.
Look, anybody to Reddick.
I could. I don't think he's
And then
available.
the other thing about the Lakers and the coach is when you have to draw up plays, that's where coaching shows. There were times when Mark Jackson was still the coach of the Warriors in close games, it seemed like while he was good at, pumping up the players, but when it came to X and O's, drawing up winning plays, I think that was his Achilles heel. And ultimately, when they lost that first round series against the Clippers, unfortunately, I think that was the last round. Unfortunately, they bring in Kerr. What happens? Boom, championship. That just shows you that's how close they were. And I just kind of see the same thing with JJ Reddick. I mean, we'll see, but if he's named the coach, but I think that's going to be one of the kind of telling tales to see, is he ready? Because Jason Kidd, remember when Jason Kidd was a coach with the Nets, it took him a while. Unfortunately, they came up against the Lakers in the finals in the 2003 season, or two. So it took him a while as a coach, to get to that next level, but he eventually got there. So we'll see. See Reddick and the Lakers.
Yeah. All right, switching to football. Justin Jefferson signed an absolutely enormous contract, the largest contract for any non-quarterback in football. And the Niners have a quarterback that wants a big contract, and the Cowboys have a wide receiver that wants a big contract. So, Bill, good switch. So the question is, which team is more screwed with Justin Jefferson's contract? Is it Dallas with CeeDee Lamb, or is it the Niners with Brandon Ayuk? Brother Bill, I'm going to start with you.
I think it's the Dallas Cowboys, because even if the Niners aren't able to keep Ayuk, they have more weapons offensively to do things with. It will be a bigger drop-off if the Cowboys aren't able to keep CeeDee Lamb than if the Niners aren't able to keep Ayuk. The Cowboys, cap-wise, for next year, aren't in as tough a shape as the Niners are. So if it's just money, the Cowboys should be able to sign CeeDee Lamb. But if they don't, then you can forget any chance they have of doing anything. He's a tough guy to replace.
Brother James, who's in a worse position because of Justin Jefferson's massive contract? The Cowboys with CeeDee Lamb or the Niners with Ayuk?
Okay, so now are we saying that if they sign him, or?
Well, it's almost like who's forced to sign a contract bigger than they want to sign? Who's more forced?
Well, I mean, both teams gonna be able to have to sign a contract bigger than they want to. I mean, that's just about business. You want to get them as cheap as you can get them. But the deal of it is Dallas's pockets is deeper than the Niners. I mean, and that's just the truth. And so I think that they will be able to afford any contract that they come up with as far as agreement with Lamb. You guys, you don't have enough room to give Ayuk the money that he's going to be wanting. So I mean, so I would, my deal would be y'all be in trouble. I mean, yes, you have other offensive weapons, but him being on the field opens up so much, because you can't cheat in the guard the line on Christmas McCaffrey because you have Ayuk out there, and so the deal of it is, without him on the field, now you can take some focus off of the pass game, and now you can concentrate on maintaining Christian McCaffrey.
Ayuk is more replaceable than CeeDee Lamb is, though. I mean, you could put someone in Ayuk's spot, because most of the time Ayuk, he wasn't the teams where they played, two safeties deep. You always had a safety over top anyway, so it wasn't like he demanded any more coverage than, let's say, George Kittle did. CD Lamb teams had to make sure they knew where he was. He was the deep threat for Dallas. They didn't have.
But they were double covering out in a lot of games. He was catching double coverage.
You had a safety over the top, sure, but it wasn't like you.
Okay, but that safety was cheated towards the side where he was at, was he not?
The guy that you had to watch him, if you're preparing for the Niners, it was not don't let Brandon Ayuk beat you. It was you got to make sure you know where Kittle is. You got to make sure you know where McCaffrey's because McCaffrey's going to get his, and then make sure that Debo's not running free. I'm telling you, the Niners had more offensive weapons, and the Cowboys, it was CD Lamb and maybe had one other guy.
All right, Deacon Hill, who is in a worse position?
As much as it pains me, I have to agree with Bill. Because, but first, before I agree with him, who's that little funny looking guy with that hat on with that 49er? What is his name? In your background, that guy with that funny looking hat on, walking with a.
Are you talking about Sourdough Sam?
Oh, was that?
Hey, I'll tell you what. When you come to our stadium, when y'all come here next year, I'll see if I can get you a picture, a selfie with him, pre-game. See if we can get some field passes.
Let me think about it. No.
I'll hook you up.
Let me think about it. No. Okay. So, but I will agree with Bill on just the mere fact that you guys have more weapons around. You got Kittle, you have Debo Samuel, you have McCaffrey. So you guys have more weapons on the offense. Dallas is more focused on CD Lamb to make their offense go. They got Pollard as the running back position, and we seen what he did this last year. He didn't exactly burn it up or anything. So yeah, I think Dallas is under more pressure to sign the contract than the 49ers are. And that's my take on it.
I think what Dallas did when they signed Zeke 2 years early, I think they put themselves in a position where all they're doing with their star players is signing horrible contracts. Zeke's contract's terrible. I think they overpaid for, I know they overpaid for Dak, and they're probably going to overpay for him again. So I think they've set the table to where if they draft you and you're good, they will overpay you. And I think the Niners why the Niners aren't in as tough a position as I could see the Niners just saying, bro, we're not going to pay you $30 million a year. We'll pay you whatever, 27, 25, whatever it is. But I think they're in a better position because I feel like they are more likely to walk away and let him just either play the contract out or trade him. Then the Cowboys are going to sign CD Lamb. And if it's anything like they've been doing, they're going to sign him for $1 more a year than Justin Jefferson. And then they're going to have, and then they still have to pay Micah Parsons like next. So the Cowboys they're horrible at contracts. They seem to be great at drafting, horrible at contracts, which then screws the great drafting. And I see this just being another situation where they sign him for $140 million and $1. So he's the highest paid guy, so he can be happy. And then they got to pay Dak 60. So I think the Cowboys have a very poor contract culture, which is going to screw them, which is going to completely screw them in this. And they better hope. What are you thinking, Brother Bill?
Why do they have to pay Dak 60? Dak isn't worth 60.
No, Dak's not worth what he's making now either. They paid him too much last time. They say that Dak is looking for 60 a year, which means he'll sign for 58 a year. Dak is not. That dude is not worth 58 million a year. I don't care what the salary cap is.
He's won 2 playoff games in years. How many playoff games has Jimmy Garoppolo won?
3.
I'll just stop there. Yeah, Dak does not. Dak's not worth 60 million.
Bill,
look, I hate being the oddball, but I have to agree with y'all on that.
There we go. Hey, see, look at us coming. Look at us coming together. Look at that. Brotherhood.
Bill, can you give us a shot of your closet? Can we see that Garoppolo jersey that you have?
I got a Jerry Rice jersey, just so you know.
All right, so
and a Jimmy G.
I do not. Bobblehead, yes. Jersey, no. And I got a cap jersey. You've seen my cap jersey. Sorry, Joe.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, last subject of the night, and this has the potential to kind of shift other quarterback contracts. Daniel Jones' contract is horrific. His $42 million a year, whatever he's getting. But Tua Tagovailoa he wants a new contract, and he said the market is the market is the market, which my guess is that puts him around $45 million a year. And I'm not even going to say if you're the GM of the Dolphins, if Tua is on your team, Brother Bill, I'm going to start with you. Are you signing him to $45 million a year?
I unfortunately I didn't do enough research to see what their financial situation is, but that always plays into it. If the question is, do I think he's worth 45 mil a year? That's a tough one, because I guess to say no, that are they at risk of losing him? Because if he goes, I don't see other quarterbacks out there to keep them in the running in the AFC East, next year. I mean, it's a 2-horse race, so I think that's a tough one to answer. It's between the Bills and the Dolphins for the division, anyways. So I don't know.
Wait,
I mean,
are you saying you don't
I
believe
would
in
have
the
an
Jets?
issue with them, huh?
You're saying you don't believe in the Jets and Aaron Rodgers?
No, I don't.
All right, Deacon Hill, Tua Tagovailoa is the Raiders starting quarterback, and he's like, the market is the market. I need $45 million a year to be happy. What do you say?
Well, it might rain or earthquake tomorrow because Bill, I'm agreeing with that guy again. I don't know what's going on here. But the market is the market, and he's a proven commodity. I mean, if you look at what else is out there, who are you gonna go get? So you have to go, and you want to compete for a championship or at least a playoff spot. If you don't go that way, you're not going to be competing. I was reading where he has really gotten himself in some great shape this year. He lost all kind of weight. He's supposed to be ready to go, and I think they have to pay him and roll the dice with him, because there's nothing else out there.
So if he was the Raiders quarterback, you'd be cool with them signing him for 45.
Yeah, I mean, if I can't sit here and say if the Raiders, I got to do for the Dolphins, because he's not the Raiders. We're in a whole nother. The Raiders are, we're in a class of our own. We do different things. We don't do like you guys do.
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I'm glad you do. So yeah, we do different. We don't compare ourselves with other teams.
It's probably better you don't.
Yeah.
Brother James, Tua Tagovailoa, is he worth $45 million a year?
For Miami, sure.
Nobody cares.
But the issue of it is, I mean, he has come a long ways. I think me myself, if I own the team, I don't think he's the part I've seen of him, because I hadn't watched a lot of his film. Okay, I didn't watch a lot of his game, but I do know he got the cheetah over there with him. So I probably would sign him with some stipulations in his contract.
Like, don't suck. Like their offense was.
I wouldn't guarantee anything of it. I mean, it would be
maybe high per year, but low guarantee.
Yeah.
And I think, to be fair, he goes as well as most quarterbacks. Let's be real. He goes as his offensive line goes. He was getting beat up. Those concussions he had, that's because his line was breaking down, protecting him. So you give him a line he can throw behind. You give him they still got Mostert at running back. Give him a Kane. Give him a good running game. They can be successful offensively.
Yeah, they were so good. And he stayed healthy last year. Like, he started taking jiu-jitsu stuff, so he learned how to roll, learns how to get tackled, learns how to get hit, better, so he's not busting his knees up and slapping his head against the ground. But they were and it's kind of ironic that they're from Miami, but they were a great warm weather team. September, October, they were just blowing people out, and then they weren't. We kept talking. I kept going, okay, they got Fangio. They were just crushing. Like, I kept expecting them to show kind of signs of what they did the first couple months of the season, and they just kind of never did that. And I don't see unless Fangio is just completely over the hill and something happened, which would be good because he's on Philadelphia now. I don't see, like, what's the difference between last year and this year. Waddle got paid a ton. I mean, Tyreek's already making a ton. Tyreek's got a new kid every week. So by the time the season starts, he can have 45 babies. He has to, that's distracting stuff. I mean, one kid's distracting. 45, that's a lot. I don't see what the difference is going to be if you have. So I think
So you think they can compete for in the AFC East if they're not, or they're in the South?
They're in the East.
In the
East.
East without
No,
Tua
I
as the
don't. No,
quarterback?
yeah. So I think the only thing that is exactly Deacon Hill is exactly your point. What are they going to do? Like who else is there out there? So then you get there's nobody else out there, and the market is the market. You're paying $45 million a year. So I think I wouldn't be if he was on the Niners, I wouldn't love it, but it's and a lot of people were in the sports talk were going back to what Washington did with Kirk Cousins. They kept franchise tagging him, and then they got rid of him, and then they did absolutely nothing. They've done absolutely nothing since they got rid of Kirk Cousins, and I think that they're comparing the two. It's like, well, if you don't have a backup plan, don't get rid of the guy that's getting you at least, if not in the playoffs, like you're in playoff contention through December. And I think the Dolphins, I think they're kind of stuck. The thing that's good is he does seem like a guy that is continuing to improve and make his body stronger and be more flexible and play the game smarter and stuff. So it's not ideal, but I would much rather have Tua at $45 million a year than Daniel Jones at $42 million a year. He sucks. So at least they're not stuck with the Giants. And so on that note, playoffs start tomorrow. We got 3 Dallas. We got 1 Boston. I'm excited. It was weird to not have any basketball for such a long period of time, but we're getting going, and we will be on again next Wednesday instead of next Tuesday, and we'll have a couple games under our belt to be able to discuss. But you guys have a good week, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
Hey, I don't want any of you guys jumping on my bandwagon, okay? I'm just put that out there right now. Don't jump on my bandwagon.
Deal.
Which bandwagon is that? Sorry, I missed it.
The Boston bandwagon.
Oh, Celtics? Well, if they win the first 2, then that means they just did what they're supposed to do, win at home. And then
Okay, I'm not saying when they win or what they win. I just said, please don't jump on my bandwagon. Bill, you're a good guy to jump. You'd be jumping. You got some hops, bro.
When did I? Well, thank you for the compliment, but I don't remember, ever jumping on someone's bandwagon. I make a prediction and I stick with it, and if it doesn't work out, that's okay. I got no ego to bruise. It's all good.
All right, Brother James is down to get off. We got to shut this down.
I'm not gonna jump on a bandwagon, but I'm hoping that you're wrong, because I'm sorry.
It's okay.
They can't win in my book.
It's only sports. You just don't want them to get to 18. I understand.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
If they had 16, I'll be like, okay, maybe Boston. But since I got to put all the negative vibes in the atmosphere I possibly can.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right, brother.
All right.
See you.